who have been absolutely lighting it up. So those are going to be kind of the names that I'm going to keep my eye on going into this.
Well, we don't have to wait too much longer, Dust. We're going to be jumping right into our first map of our second semi-finals. Extra Salt waiting in the wings between Pain Gaming and X Rebirth. Pain will be kicking things off on the CT side and already sending Nekis over on long just to go for the feelers while the rest of the team is stacking towards B and middle.
Yeah, and PKL and Nekis might be some names people would remember as well. They used to play for Luminosity together back in the day, a couple of years back. So they are a little bit more of like the veterans of the team, I guess you could say, as far as having played in North America before. And, you know, just bringing that tournament experience with them, as we are going to see Sexy and company looking to charge up Catwalk. Now, A is wide open for the taking. You really only have Nekis playing the long corner. If he gets flanked, though, by Carson, this could be a problem. But if he can fall back, kill Carson, and maintain pick control, that might give Pain a way to retake the site back. But as we can see, Carson has found Nekis. That's going to make things very tough now on Pain Gaming.
Yeah, that one rotational flanking element has been dealt with accordingly, and our biggest error and the rest of the troops have got to try and get some heads. Crush through back onto the site as soon as possible. Carson has chipped in for a second, and it's all gone horribly wrong. Safe at least puts one back, and biggest error and Hardshout putting this in contention. But about half of the bomb fuses already ticked away. They need these kills quickly. They still maintain one of the kits, but they've both been put down by CJ and Rechi. Excellent start from X Rebirth.
Yeah, really well done. Again, I think it was big that Carson was able to pick up that kill over onto Nekis at long A. That really kind of forced Pain one direction on any type of retake attempt. And while they were able to get it into a 2v2, like you said, the bomb timer became a factor. They lost a lot of health along the way, and X Rebirth were able to come out and finish the job. So, like, good pistol victory there, as we are going to see them look to test the waters at long pretty early.
They're getting out here quick. They're having to dodge grenades left and right, but Rechi straight through with a flashbang accompanying the push has been suppressed by Nekis and his Deagle. Safe now watching the cross with his scout has put down Exotic. So pretty solid start for the Brazilians, all things considered. They did force into the round, of course, with 2 scouts still in play. So X Rebirth have got to tread lightly. However, because it was so explosive at the start of the round, Dust, there's still plenty of time on the clock.
Indeed, there is, and Pain is becoming a pain in X Rebirth's side here by getting this into a very quick 3-on-3 with, again, some decent pieces of firepower still in play. Now, these scouts, of course, are going to be a little bit tougher when you're having the close quarters and actually really go for this retake on the A platform. As X Rebirth are doing a good job using their Molotovs to clear out any, weird corners, and now they know exactly where Pain can be coming from. They have the bomb down. They put a nice little smoke here on the platform, get some coverage. CJ has a great angle here on Car as well to watch the long push.
Post-plant positions have been assumed. Now Pain have got to try and rinse together some kills, get some consistent fragging in effect. Safe gets the one headshot and actually tags down Sexy to 31. Both players exceptionally low on X Rebirth. PKL and Safe both come in and take the round down. The force buy has been a success.
Indeed, it has, and that is a tough hill to swallow.
They didn't have the kit, Dust. They have to pull back.
Oh. That is unfortunate. I'm sitting here ready to talk about how much of a rough ride that is for Rebirth to lose the round. And as you said, Pain never had a kit in play there. They did have the, use of the scouts. They had the Deagles. They were able to find the frags, but it took a bit too long to be able to get the defuse with no kit. And I don't know if there had been a kit somewhere that fell that they couldn't recover, or if they just had never bought one at all. Either way, they get away with one over on the X Rebirth side of things, so that is pretty big. Now they should be rewarded with a little bit of an easier round, but as I say that, there's still an AK in play for Safi, a scout still in play for PKL, and they have some upgraded pistols around also, so still pose a bit of a threat in this round, Vince.
Well, they most certainly do, saving those 2 previous weapons, and plus it'll be a bit of a knock to the confidence of X Rebirth as they run out into the C's head, and scout of PKL who puts together 2 more frags. And whereas the last round came down to timing, there's no hope, surely, for X Rebirth to get this round. Rechi's on a measly 19 HP, and he faces off against 3, and 2 assault rifles have traded hands. It's the Deagle to put the final nail in the coffin, and they have finally collected.
And 3 AKs, Vince. You had mentioned the 2. A third gets picked up there by the remaining Deagle that was sitting in pit. And that is tough now for X Rebirth. They're going to have to go for the save here, so the forcing up from Pain in round 2, while they had to kind of scamper away, save a couple of guns, and concede an extra round despite getting all the frags, they have come back, like you said, to reap the benefits there in round number 3. They're just one away from tying this thing up as we head into round 4, and it's very likely they should do so. As we can see, there is no money really in play here for Chococheck. We're going to have to just do with Deagles, so a bit of a deco, bit of utility sprinkled around, but not so much, and yeah, they just tried to kind of brute force their way into B, and there was just a great little setup there from Payne with Hard playing that boosted box with the CZ. You had PK with the scout in the back, just kind of got fed into and were able to take it no problem. So this is a great start for the Brazilians to, yeah, concede the pistol, but then do a lot of damage along the way and then steal around. And again, they should quickly tie this thing up as we get into round number 4.
Yeah, slight technical issue, but fortunately it has all been ironed out. As you said, Dust, this is a rough situation to be in on the tees. Pain Gaming, in the meanwhile, though, now with a huge bonus buff to their arsenal of weaponry and their dollar bills. On top of it, some early aggression with a flashbang, but they don't follow in behind it, probably for the best, as Hardshao had a great spawn and throws in the grenades early on. So long control has already been stamped down for Pain.
Yeah, that's going to really kind of force now the rest of these guys to just look for deagle picks up catwalk or maybe through the double doors here at middle. They're going to throw a little bit of a pop flash at mid that does push Big Uzera off. It allows them to make their way up cat without getting caught on the cross. But that is a very small battle to win. They still need to find a way to approach Plat. They do have the smokes and flashes they need to cover a cross or maybe even cover a drop down into CT spawn. But we see the counter incendiary there from Big Uzera. Could slow things down a bit, but it looks like they're indeed going to have to kind of back off. They're going to go for late long A control, but they're already getting kind of picked apart there. Safi already finding one with the op.
Great counter flashes tossed in as well. X-Rebirth want to try and explode outside of Catwalk, but there's constant flashes landing on their head. And Nekis with the double spray. Hanjao gets one. Exotic, though, one of those players that you said to watch out for, does land a tasty one dig with the Deagle, but ultimately it's going to be 2-2 and only one casualty for Pain.
Yeah, it's one of those things where X-Rebirth didn't really have a whole lot they could go for. They were trying to, get the basic smokes down to maybe threaten a CT drop down or at least have a safer cat cross, maybe come late through long and try to still force some type of A split despite the inferior firepower. But they were just never able to really get that much space or really get the entry they needed. Big Uzera had the drop down covered. Safi, of course, able to find the opening op shot. And now look at this. The money was just so bad that they had to go for the full-on Glock save this time around. Maybe there's a P250 in there somewhere, but other than that, this is basically a formality for Pain. That grenade should be brutal.
Yeah, it is, and it softens all of them as they run into the gauntlet of middle. PK and Hardjao having none of it. You see Big Azera's grenades does claim the assist, and although the rest of the troops of X-Rebirth have not been tagged, they're only down to Deagles. Sorry, not even Deagles. They wish Deagles. Glocks and the P250. And Safi has the Xbox should they jump up for a peak. It's looking almost guaranteed at this stage that Pain Gaming will be in the lead.
Yeah, formality was kind of the word I used earlier, and you can see why. They just don't have anything they need to pose a problem for Pain. We're off to a hot start here on DUST2. Again, certainly came to the series as a favorite, had the 6-0 head-to-head map advantage over this core 3, at least, of Exotic, Retchi, and Carson. Again, CJ to King and Sexy, kind of newer members. And it's one of those things, Vince, where we're just kind of waiting for the round to end. I mean, Exotic able to find a quick pick, but Nekis letting him just kind of realize that that's going to be a short-lived effort. You could tell that maybe Exotic wanted to try to jump down, try to grab a rifle, and maybe make something magical happen, but not allowed to do that. And now Big Azera will finish things off, tapping off the dome of Carson, who was stuck with the Glock and Pit. Not really the weapon you want to have at that range, obviously. But now we should see the buy-up from the T side, and this is where maybe we can start to see them try to impose their will a little bit more, and this is where we will get a better test for Pain Gaming that they're going to have to face. Though there is going to be no AWP in play for Exotic, so that is going to give them the advantage on some of the longer angles, of course, on the Pain side.
Yeah, not a single player could afford it. They're just below that threshold. $4,700 is the most they could muster. They lack that extra 50. Doesn't matter, though, because Exotic, with the aggression, with the AK, does get the opening pick. Nekis, not for the first time, though, having success on long. Fends off and thwarts this long aggression. A one-for-one trade. One of the better starts that X-Rebirth have had in a little while, though. So they'll take that, and they can start to pull back and try and use this pivot point for Retchi over on the B site. And if they're not careful with Hardjao, this B site could fall.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're trying to double back. They maybe have forced someone to really focus on middle or maybe even drift towards CT spawn. They could try to use that vulnerability to start exercising map control elsewhere. But as time has passed, everything's kind of settled down. We do see Nekus continuing to hold on to long control. It's been re-smoked now by Safi, who can now kind of focus on the mid push and on Cat Cross, and the other two can just play inside the B sides. We definitely see that X-Rebirths want to go for the mid B split here. They're trying to challenge, but Harjow able to get a trade with Sexy, but that's a big kill from CJ that opens up that B site, and I don't even know that Pain want to try to go for this retake now.
Yeah, could very well have just put this round too far away from Pain Gaming's grasp, but especially now that Safi has been nullified by Rechi's AK-47. That's the AWP that goes with him, and Nekis. I'm surprised that he's even walking in there, to be honest, Dust. I felt like this round had already kind of came and gone. And Pain Gaming, they've got enough funds to go for another buy, but it is 3-3.
Yeah, it's one of those things where maybe if they could have gotten that kill in CT spawn and had a 2v2 that they could have considered to go for the retake. Again, they did have plenty of funds to try to send it, but once that kill happened in spawn, there was really no hope for them any longer. But as you said, they are able to get the op back in Safi's hands, rifles across the board. Op now in play for Exotic, looking for the long A push.
Molly out early, that's going to be in the eyes of the T's. They still get the shot across, but Exotic is burning alive. They smoke the Molly, but look how much damage was already inflicted. Exotic's down to 7 HP, and they've lost Rechi. No points of damage done to Pain. That is extraordinary utility just right off the bat.
Yeah, they were really trying to exploit pace there and try to fit an op shot through the flames. It did not happen because they are also able to take Sexy down at Catwalk, and you still have Exotic bleeding out with 8 HP over towards middle with bomb in his possession. They don't even really have B tunnels control. Carson just kind of watching for a push through from the back there. NT spawn options are very limited right now for X-Rebirth as they are in a 3-on-4, but on top of that, they're just so vulnerable. They do not have that much utility left either, but they only have one smoke grenade to put into play. Yes, they have some Molotovs that could push some CTs out of position, but outside of that, it is going to be such a tough ask of them. It's going to come down to just a big individual effort you have to imagine. Exot's going to have to find a big op opening, or someone's going to have to mess up from Pain Gaming.
Maybe an unforced error, as you say, is the way forward, but with Safi being so very good with the AWPs, Orbit DreamHack not too long ago posting up some crazy shots, getting Pain much further in the tournament than anyone would really have hoped them to go.
They won one and took second at the other, I believe is the case.
Right,
I think they won January and came second in March. So yeah, they definitely were starting to make some noise in the Americas region through those DreamHack events, and there it is, Safi finding CJ.
Smoke down on the cross, 10 seconds to play with as X-Rebirth try and get across to the site. They may be able to get this bomb after all, and alongside Carson's first frag, there's actually a way forward. Carson's taken off the head of Nekis. And you said it would have to be a huge individual effort and a bit of a whiff from the opposition. That's what came into fruition here. Now, you look at the HP bars, though, collectively only 10. But they have the AWP still in play of Exotic, and Carson's already shown us that his AK aim is on point. But that double peek was always going to be difficult to deal with. Exotic, while flashed, still lands the frag, but now his position is known. It could be an untenable clutch here. Oh, but he spins down and takes the head of Harjow. That's a round that should never go to X-Rebirth.
Yeah, that's a big play, though, from Exotic. You have to give him credit landing some difficult op shots there. But again, that duel that was taken through long, there was really no need to give Carson that 1-versus-1. I feel like Pain could have just played passive and Pit, bought time for rotations and pinch together. Instead, they allowed X-Rebirth to get that kill long, get control of it, and give themselves a fighting chance to clutch, and they come up with it thanks to Exotic's efforts with the op. So, like most clutches like that, it's a combination of some errors from the opposition and some great individual plays for the victor, and that puts them up 4-3 and puts Pain back onto a save.
We do know, though, that Pain have done a lot with very little already, but Rechi pivots around 2 big entries. Yes, it's against P2000s, against USPs, but he'll still take them. Definitely a big confidence boost. P250 on Safi could maybe get the drop onto Exotic, but he feels like at this stage he's missed his opportunity. Bit of damage. Actually gets the kill. That's really surprising that Exotic would continue to go for those peaks when you have CJ coming up middle and you have the AWP. That is a potentially big banana peel they've just stumbled over. Now, not in terms of losing this round. That's already done. But if they can hold on to this AWP, that is a massive boost to Pain Gaming. And one that's really unnecessarily gone across to them.
Yeah, that is a point to be had, that they were able to essentially grab little bit of free weaponry, but at least the big goal of getting the round is going to happen there for them. That jumps them up to 5-3. They are going to at least hold on to 3 AKs, but as you said, it's a lot of rebound that's going to have to come into play now, so their money is still going to stay considerably low. And really, that kind of puts this round up for kind of a 2-for-1 deal. Like, whoever is losing this round is likely going to have to take some type of save or low buy. That's a chance for Pain to tie this thing right back up at 5 apiece, or a chance for, X Rebirth here to really start to steam out in front here on the T side of DUST2, which is exactly what you want to be doing on the T side of DUST2. It's just one of those maps that tends to lean towards the attack just a bit. A lot of opportunities to get rounds on the T side. And after, having a couple of fumbles early, this could be their chance to recover.
With the saved AWP, Safi, pardon me, I keep wanting to say Safe on his name. It is Safi. Was able to get full utility. He's already tossed a bit of it out.
Yeah.
In the meanwhile, X Rebirth, though, starting to at least put some pressure over on the B site. This forces out a bit of utility from Hard Chow, who only has a smoke left. There's a slight gap in this smoke. They need to be very wary, and they've walked into the trap. Hard Chow sprays 2 down with PKL helping him out, and now it forces X Rebirth with their remaining 3 players to try and burst their way out on Catwalk. They've already had a bit of success over here, but Safi does connect. And with only 2 players remaining and good counter flashes coming in, we have been in a similar position before, but I'd be very surprised if Pain let this one slip as well. Now, CJ can do a bit of damage and maybe even force the plant down. There's no one on short to stop him. At this point, it's about doing as much damage as he possibly can. Safi's not overextending, staying on long, calling to the rest of this team. He's not on the long side. He's still on the site somewhere, and does allow them to now come in and try and systematically shut him down. Big shot comes in, and CJ is still alive, still healthy on 67 HP, and Safi's missed his shot. They still have to get across to the site, and they're lacking utility themselves. No HEs or incendiaries to toss towards Gandalf, and so CJ gets tagged, gets legged, and fragged finally by Safi. But another round where you think the Pain have it tied up easily, and yet they hemorrhage casualties.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I feel like they kind of loosened up a little bit kind of in the middle of that round, but then once they kind of realized, oh crap, we've actually put ourselves in a 2 versus 1, then they were able to kind of work together and make sure that they shut down the round. But with that bomb plant, that kind of alleviated some of the economic woes for X Rebirth. So they're actually going to be able to buy up again. Without that plant, they likely would have had to take a save here, or maybe like a Tech 9 buy up. So that does give them a chance to, not give Pain any freebies, so to speak, to be able to challenge right away here. And they're going to, again, try to take this long A spawn and cause some havoc.
Incendiary straight down onto long. Carson is overstaying, and he burns alive. It's actually a flashbang kill, I think. Did the flash hit him and finish him off?
I think it was a flash assist, and he still melted inside the fire.
Ah.
That's all good, buddy. I know we want that type of thing to happen. That would have been cool.
The HUD trolled me, jebaited me, Dust. Feels bad.
I mean, there's a lot of custom HUDs now, so yeah, we do get jebaited. Remember back in like older versions of Counter-Strike where the thing would take up your entire screen if you killed someone with like a smoke grenade or a flashbang?
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need that back. That way there's no confusion then. It's like, for sure if you got the flash kill, that thing just takes up your entire screen, And you earned it, really, if you think about it. Like, it deserves to cover your whole screen. You know what else is not deserving? It's not like those players don't deserve to sit in the fire and just die like that. That's twice now that they've had that happen. It seems like they're really keen on like overcommitting and trying to catch people off guard, and that's twice it's come back to burn them.
Yeah, it's a really strange play. It's almost like a mad play, and I mean mutually assured destruction play here, because he's like, I'm going to go out and get a frag. Even if I burn alive, I'm going to make sure I get a kill. Well, there was no kill, buddy. I know you're you're 2 players behind. And for what?
Yeah, exactly. If you get it into a 4-on-4 and you are able to like push ETs off and you get long control, that's a favorable trade, losing a player in that type of situation. 4-on-4 with long control, heck yeah, especially early in the round. But as you know, they didn't get any frags. They got no map control, and now they're just kind of being thinned out all across the map. Safi finding exotic. CJ gets 1, but that's going to be it. So 4 players stay alive here for Pain. They tie up the game, and now the money really has on its course over here on the Chococheck side. Now they're going to have to go for the save, and that's going to give Pain a chance to get a lead here for the first time, I think, this game. And they've gotten close a couple of times. This will be the first time they'd surpass Chococheck here on DUST2.
They did have a golden opportunity, though, and a 2v4, I want to say, maybe even a 2v5 that they ended up conceding. So we know that X Rebirth The backs against the wall have done a lot earlier on. Safi, though, will be nullifying the life of Retchi. Sexy trying to connect the Deagle, and he does. It's at the cost of Carson's life, though. As Safi is continually re-peeking. Needs to make sure he doesn't die, though. If both those players die down, it's going to be a bit of an awkward, rough situation. And again, this is one of those rounds where you really need to be building up your economy. Nice flip from Safi, and he'll be going in for more. The round should be coming to an end, and he even whips out his USP for a 4K. Actually, was it the... No, it wasn't the ace. I saw the skull, but that's how many deaths he's got. He got a 4K.
Okay. You're learning. We're evolving our brains here to catch up with the HUD. As I quite like this HUD. I like any HUD that gives you permanent KDA on the player bars. I think that's been a great addition. So, and also, I've seen that the mini maps have been pretty good as well on this one, especially some of the maps that are like multi-layered as far as height goes, as that puts Paint up 6-5. Full AK buy here from X Rebirth and a little bit limited utility. Of course, no op. Neck is getting aggressive in lower tunnels. This could be a problem.
So could the aggression on Catwalk, and Biggest Error has already put down 2 of them. Nekis, that lower tunnel player, as you highlighted, does strike, drops the bomb down. Yes, he will lose his life, but Retchi's partner in crime, Sexy, has been dealt with accordingly. Retchi, though, has put another bullet to head. It's a 2v1, but the B-site defender, Harjao, is still in position, and they have middle cross. Biggest Error unlikely to get the kill unless he gets slow peeked, but it's information that he's looking for.
Exactly. He'll know if Retchi crosses over to the big box and tries to go up Catwalk. They know that if he shots the fallback B tunnels, Harjao should be able to catch that. So while Pain have leaked out a couple of extra players and they probably should have, which has happened a couple of times to be fair, it looks like once again they should be able to get away with it as long as they're able to kind of keep Retchi at bay, who's going to try to go for a bit of a gut check peek here. Big misses a shot. Retchi tries to respond, but Big Azair does the smart thing, backs off the spawn. Here's Retchi sprinting the A side.
Well, he's been put down as well, so it's going to be grenades. Oh, Retchi, jeez,
You could tell what he was thinking about doing. He was trying to jump down, perhaps, but thought better of it. We'll get the plan, but he took a lot of health because of it. And actually, okay, didn't see that coming. Harjao with just a spam to the head through the box. We'll finish the round offense.
Yep, round is certainly done. And X Rebirth, they're in an awkward position. They're in that weird, like, middle ground where they can't really buy. They can maybe throw a couple deagles in there, but I'd be very surprised if they went in for a force here.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You want to take that middle-of-the-road approach in a round like this. I mean, the score is still fairly close. You could still come out with a couple of more rounds if you play your cards right, so not hamstringing yourself, but, you know, giving yourself a somewhat of a chance to at least throw a couple of haymakers out there, maybe try to get a couple of kills. But yeah, it will just be flashes and pistols. Now they don't even have a smoke for the cross, so they'd commit to long A. So we're going to make it really tough on them, and they're actually just going to back off.
I admire the effort, but ultimately not really anything gained on their long incursions. In terms of utility, well, there is absolutely nothing. They're coming out running and gunning. They're hoping to land some big 1Ds to connect the headshots. And so far, Pain Gaming have done a good job of holding on to a lot of their utility. They still have an incendiary, a couple of smokes, and plenty of flashes. Big Azera thinking of going back into Catwalk. This could be a way forward. Flashbang is good, and the follow-up damage not quite there. Carson takes off the head of Big Azera. That's an AK that trades hands, and PKL has been forced back. An important kill. If he died there, that could be huge for Pain Gaming, but instead, he connects, as does Nekis on Catwalk. And it seems like this potentially awkward round and a banana peel has been swiftly navigated past. CJ using the smoke as sanctuary, but it will be dissipating momentarily. Now he has to get back out there, and Nekis, he's landed for a 3rd time.
Yeah, he's actually split CJ's wig there, that's for sure. 8-5 is now going to be the score. Pain kind of been coasting through lately, but now we have the full buyback here, including an AWP for Exotic. This may have been only the 2nd or 3rd round he's actually had the ability to put a sniper forward. He doesn't really have the best spawn for anything other than maybe a B-site peek through tunnels. It looks like that is actually what he's going to go for. So let's see how that plays out.
Flashes over long just to feign a bit of interest, whereas X Rebirth is still pushing down through lower tunnels. Exotic with the aforementioned AWP is thinking about going in, but not for the first time. Big Azera showing a bit of aggression down on Catwalk, throws the grenade as well for a parting gift, and does tons of damage to Exotic and Sexy. This is looking grim already. Early on in the round, X Rebirth is struggling.
Yeah, Pain are capitalizing on almost every facet of the round. They're getting early picks. They're being aggressive, denying space. They're doing great with their counter utility to stall players out. They're trading efficiently for the most part, except for a couple of rounds where maybe they've gotten a little bit over-eager and overextended. So, I mean, it really is almost more dominant than the scoreboard indicates, at least for me, Vince. Just like thinking about how many, you know, boxes Pain are checking as far as like what little small victories they're getting in each and every round and how they're playing out these rounds.
Yeah, had it not have been for that huge clutch from Exotic earlier on, that 2v4 or whatever it was, like this could have been a landslide half.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
And it
got
still
the
could
economy
wind up
down.
being a 10-5 half, which would still be huge for the CT side of DUST2. So
Right. So I'm completely on board. I think this is a lot more one-sided than the 8-5 scoreline. Obviously, they got the first 2 rounds of the half as well, X-Rebirth. They did win the first pistol. So they have flashed their way successfully over onto the A side of the map, but they have lost CJ. And they've also lost Sexy. And they've lost Exotic as well. And it's Big Azera with a 4K through the smoke, through the heads.
Man, that is brutal. Couldn't even catch those kills. They happened so fast. Just rapid headshots there from Big Azera. Again, we talked about how he and Safi have been huge performers for this team and some of the more recent DreamHack events they've played the last few months, and you're seeing why. This precise aim and good team play through and through, and now it's final round of the half, and look at what X-Rebirth have to play with. 3 Deagles, 2 AKs. That is not ideal. And of course, they have no options in anything fast. There's plenty of utility to shut that down here at the B tunnels.
Clumped up all on the B side of the map, and there's 2 players here. There's a slight gap in that smoke as well. Hardjow did spot the player crossing. He knows what's coming up. Lots of damage through there. He takes quite a bit though in return. Has to switch to the CZ as his magazine in the AK is ran dry. The CZ in with 1, looking for more, doesn't find it, but Big Azera's HE is in time. And although there's 2 entries have come onto the B side, it's a great cost. And there's only a flash between the 2 of X-Rebirth. Smoke's now being put down, and there's a fast rotation coming around from Nekis.
Exactly. He's already in B tunnels in position to flank, and they haven't even thought about planting the bomb yet. They are so stuck right now. There's still 2 incendiaries and flashes in play for Pain. There's 1 flash in play for Exotic. And, I mean, Pain are just letting them stew on it with a ton of stuff on the clock. They know they don't have to force anything. They can just wait it out.
Exactly. The initiative has to come from X-Rebirth. If it's post-plant, it's an entirely different ball game, but they still need to get that down. They're hearing footsteps go across to the site. Big Azera will be the first one to peek in. The bomb's now successfully planted, but it's at the cost of Exotic's life. And although Sexy comes back with 1 of his own, he will also fall. Find out how this map comes down as a defuse will be coming in. But we will have a break, ladies and gents, so stay tuned. We'll be back to find out if Pain can convert on DUST2. Welcome back, ladies and gents. After a short break, we are ready to resume the action. Pain Gaming with a 10-5 lead, but as we were discussing in the halftime break there, Dust, honestly, it could have been quite easily 13-2.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Pain definitely had a dominant half and then some. The scoreboard doesn't even do it justice, really. We'll see if Chococheck can try to reel it back in here on the CT side. We see them looking to challenge long A with 3 members, so they're definitely not looking to give this up at all. It has forced the T's back, and Carson will ensure that they've escaped. The rest of the T's trying to maybe attack in the tunnels, but we see the CT's getting aggressive there as well, Vince.
A must-win round on X-Rebirth, and they're looking to take no prisoners out on their B. Aggression, but it nearly backfires. It has backfired. Sexy at least took the frag onto Nekis, but everything else has gone horribly wrong. Exotic already, though, making moves from middle, has put down 1 frag, staying alive, being a nuisance and a pain in the backside through a window, and is being joined by Carson, who moves out the smoke prematurely and gets put down for his misery. CJ now moving in, still a 3-on-2 advantage. Bomb still yet to be planted, but Pain Gaming in no great rush. And they have the flank, they have the ace up their sleeve, and Safi has shown his hand.
Oh, no.
He puts down CJ, who could have got knifed. But fortunately, Exotic took down a frag just beforehand and forced the hand. Pain Gaming, though, second pistol is theirs.
Yeah, this is a great start for them. AK already out for Harjao. Going to see some upgrades across the board there as well. I'm sure PKL also already going for the AK-47. Not wasting any time on MAC-10s. It's because they know that there's a chance they may be facing 4 rifles soon. So they're getting Galils and AKs heavies. They're not looking for the MAC-10 farming or anything like that. In fact, they went with 3 AKs and 1 Galil, 1 scout on Safi. So yeah, they have gone all the way in buying. It's going to be just the deco here for Chococheck.
A bit of maybe a lull in the action. It has been a pretty explosive map so far. And Big Azera says, what's that? You're expecting a bit of slow pace? Nope. Here's a bullet to the head. There's
Didn't even give the
well.
guy a chance to click his mouse. I mean, goodness. There's nothing you can even do against that, man. And he's done that to a couple different players throughout this game. He has just been so lightning fast on the trigger. We're going to see that they have a bit of a blue bin boost here as kind of a gimmick on the X Rebirth side of things. Unfortunately, it seems like it will never be found. As Pain Gaming already have control of Cat. As PKL's already taken stairs and posting up looking for more. Still have presence in B tunnels with Harjao. Watching the mid cross with a couple of players as well. And Nekus is making sure they're not being flanked from long. So everything going swimmingly for Pain. They have an opening pick. They obviously have the firepower advantage. They still have time to play with. And now they will just gather up and they'll find A site still wide open because, again, that A defense is heavily invested on this blue bin stack and it's going to be absolutely bypassed. And so a 12th round should be ringing out here any moment for Pain.
I just wonder if they'll, maybe instead of going for the site, they'll actually use these positions as potential exit frag points. Because it is a bit of an off angle, you know, especially if you have a good read of the situation, look at the investment that Pain have put into this. It's a scout and 4 rifles. There's no SMGs. There's nothing that would be invaluable or, you know, an expendable sort of weapon to lose here. Even the scout is really solid on the DUST2, and Safi will want to keep that for a while. So CJ is going to be going in for the peak. They still have Rechi up around the blue boxes. So it seems like they have pretty much given this round up. So now I'm just curious to see if they do get any rewards for this, because they're being flanked themselves.
It's likely Pain will just fall back the way they came, though. I mean, they know that it's likely players sitting inside B side or tunnels, or, you know, they obviously already spotted the one player that peaked from long. So, I mean, they should be aware of where they're holding up. And with them having all these AKs, there's no chance they want to risk handing them over. So, yeah, everyone will just kind of sit tight. Good decision making on all fronts. So a 12th round comes out here for the Brazilians. And remember, this is X Rebirth's map pick. And they are getting blitzed right now.
If you haven't had enough of all this great CS action that we've been bringing to you, and there's still plenty more today, go over and visit youtube.com/Venn Esports, VENN Esports, for all the incredible games that we've casted today and plenty more. Definitely get over there and drop a subscribe. In terms of the actual game itself, though, there's probably not a great deal that's going to happen out of this round, Dust. You look at the economy and the buy from X Rebirth, it's basically nothing at all.
Yeah, imagine if there's any type of highlight reel video that drops out on that YouTube channel, it'll be very much from Pain Gaming's perspective, based on what we've seen thus far here. As the Pistols are just scrambling into a B tunnels rush, but they have been spotted. They have been chunked on 3 of their players as well. Long been taken by Nekus and PKL. And so Pain's just playing it smart. They don't want to run into any type of stack or any type of trap. They're just kind of waiting to see what type of aggression X Rebirth they're going to bring. They're going to mop it up, and then they'll take their victory in stride. And that is, again, just, you know, good discipline from Pain Gaming. They kind of, again, overextended a couple of times in the first half and gave up a couple of rounds, but now it seems like they're being a little bit more careful, and that's obviously a good sign for Pain Gaming fans.
Yeah, this is what was great to see at DreamHack 44, where Pain initially were just bursting into those opening maps like Inferno, just super aggressive. But what we saw is they weren't just a one-trick pony. Like, they actually had no issue slowing it down, playing really slowly, playing with the minds of their opposition. That's what we're seeing here. They know that this situation could go awry, and they're just trying to choke out X Rebirth, just make this as claustrophobic as possible. And so far, so good. Carson's gone down to Harjao. That'll be a free plant momentarily. They're just holding off in case there's another peak. But CJ, well, he's not interested. He's in CT spawn still.
Yeah, I mean, just looking for X, just trying to grab any gun he might be able to is kind of the goal here. Obviously, no chance at posing a threat to the retake with just being one player, no kit, no space to work with. And, yeah, looks like it'll be a 13th round for Pain, which was to be expected considering what was out on the field. But we will see a buy upcoming from X Rebirth in the next round. That is last chance saloon for them, for DUST2. You'd have to imagine they'll put all their eggs in that basket. If it doesn't work out, then they'll be basically force buying for the rest of the game, and it'll be very much mixed buys from that point forward. So this really is their moment, if ever, to try to come out and strike, put your best purchase in, whatever game plan you feel most comfortable with, whether it's aggression, whether it's sitting back and trying to play the long angles with the op, whatever it might be, now's the time to do it. Otherwise, you may be looking to lose your map pick, and there's only one winner in this tournament, Vince. There's one slot available for Blast Premier, so got to go for all the marbles here.
Unfortunately, their spawns, which is so often the indicator on Dust 2, it's spawn-based, were pretty trash for any kind of early peak for Exotic, so he's having to play a little bit more passively, especially when you look across, by the way, at the kills on the two teams. Only one player has hit 10 or more. That's Exotic. 4 players from Pain Gaming. In fact, nearly all 5. PKL's only 2 frags away from 10. Everybody else is well into the teens, nearly even into the 20s. It has been incredibly one-sided. Now, X-Rebirth, you said what kind of a game plan were they coming up with? They've already expended quite a bit of the utility. They've only got 1 smoke left.
Yeah, it's a problem. We do see Exocto trying to force the issue here at Cat, but he misses his shot. He can't even escape. PKL, a huge headshot there, but at least Carson able to take control of B tunnels and get some heavy information, at least get 1 kill back.
Biggest error, though, has nullified CJ. Sexy trying to land the headshots, is coming back onto the side, but PKL's already made enough movement towards the A play. Down goes Sexy, and now all 5 players from Pain have hit that 10 frag mark or better. Retchi and Carson already into positions to save. This has been a miserable CT side for X-Rebirth. Just nothing has gone right for them so far.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You know, yeah, they were able to get control of B tunnels, but it was at the cost of conceding Catwalk and just being out-positioned all across the map other than having B tunnels, which, again, that's great if you're trying to go for the quick flank or quick retake and you at least know that they're not coming B, but knowing it's half the battle, especially when you're already a man behind, as Big Azera got a pretty quick response frag to the pick and B tunnels. So that puts Pain Gaming to 14. A couple of rifles will be saved for X-Rebirth, and there is a little bit of money still available to rebuy around those guns. So they'll still have a pretty decent buy coming into this, but limited utility will certainly be a problem for them, something that you already kind of mentioned in the previous round, that something that they lost kind of early out in the round, and they won't have an AWP in play this time around either.
The only potential saving grace is the AK. It's been a bit of a flub boost as well. Took a little bit of time there. Now they're finally getting more players as they trickle out onto Catwalk. 2 of them there, CJ and Exotic, already trying to take some aggression. We saw Hardjao do this, and Biggest Error, and speak of Biggest Error, and he will deliver. 2 kills in quick succession. And Pain Gaming, well, they're in prime position again.
That's got to be gut-wrenching, man. Like, you're trying to pull off the aggressive play, you're putting down the proper utility, you've been able to get the space you wanted, and then Big Azera just steps out and hits a headshot like that. And in the blink of an eye, what you thought was a pretty aggressive maneuver has immediately turned into, you know, a 3 versus 5, and now the numbers are dwindling even more as the round continues to tick forward. Only 1 member of Pain has fallen. They have the 4-on-2 here as they start to make some progress up the catwalk. Sexy has rotated back in the position here near elevator. He will put Incendiary down on Cat to try to slow down any progress, but it seems like Pain Gaming are not willing to wait, and they will find that entry.
Carson against the world. Should he fall, 10 map points on X-Rebirth's choice of Dust 2. And to be honest, he doesn't even necessarily have to fall. Just the bomb has to go down, and that is the end of the round as far as I'm concerned. Carson may try his damned best to save the AK, but Big Azera has been on a tear. 2 exquisite headshots in this round. 1 to kick things off and 1 to close it out.
Yeah, he has been absolutely impressive. This is not a team I've gotten to watch a lot recently. But as each round passes, I become more and more intrigued by some of these guys who are putting out some big performances here and have been in the region for the last few months, really. As this could be it here for DUST2, but Carson trying to keep this one lasting a bit longer. Hits a nice headshot in the PKL at middle, but it has come at the cost of being left wide open for the taking, and Pain will oblige.
I've already lost the B site, though. Carson now has to try and remedy the situation, but shouldn't overextend. He has troops coming through on tunnels, but they've both been thwarted. Or having said that, actually, Exotic has brute forced his way in. He's lost a player, though, in middle. And now it's one-dimensional in a potential retake. The bomb's still yet to get planted, but Safi has it in his control. And we'll be putting this one down in just a moment's time. Goes in for the peak, lands the shot, but partially through the wall. That's all that keeps Retchi alive. Hardjao's gone alongside him, though. 1 HP left on Retchi, and now he is the last man, and he's gone down. And that's going to do it for map 1, and Pain Gaming. They looked flawless, Dust.
Yeah, there wasn't